Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to Buckeye Politics. It's me, your favorite Ohio. So today we're going to be analyzing how the Republican Party could possibly completely sweep the Maine gubernatorial election, the Maine House of Representatives election, and the Maine State Senate election. Now, this is a very unlikely, just going to say right off the bat. The governorship, we actually have a solid chance at winning, but flipping the House and State Senate, it's pretty unlikely, but I think it is possible. Now, let's take a look at the gubernatorial election first. So, incumbent Democrat Janet Mills, as you may know, is running for re-election against Paula Page, the former mayor of Waterville and the former Republican governor of Maine. Not mayor, he's the mayor of Waterville, but he is the governor of Maine, former governor. And he is coming back to try to run for a third term against Janet Mills, the incumbent Democrat governor. Now, not a lot of people are talking about this race, but this race could actually be a very easy flip for the Republican Party, and that is simply because Lee Page was actually a very popular governor. He's actually very populist. He's solid on the issues. He's socially very conservative, especially for Maine. He was the first governor to attend the March for Life state version in Maine. He was the first ever governor to attend that when he was governor. He's very anti-abortion, very pro-life, which is based. You love to see it. He's also pro-death penalty. He's very anti-marijuana and very anti-drug. So he's actually a very socially conservative guy. But fiscally, he's actually rather populist. He's very pro-small business. He's relatively pro-worker. He's actually a very solid candidate. He's a relatively populist, so kind of generic Republican type. He's not like your normal Northeastern Republican. He's actually pretty solid on social issues and a little more populist on fiscal issues compared to your normal Northeastern Republican who's more libertarian. Meanwhile, Janet Mills is pretty much your generic Democrat. She's not super far left, but she's also not like a moderate either. She's pretty much your generic Democrat. But anyway, Paula Page managed to win his prior elections back in 2010 and 2014 by about 5 and 3 points respectively, and he was relatively popular, relatively well liked. And with that, it's looking like he's actually on track to defeat Janet Mills. Looking at these polling, we don't have anything recently. Everything is from summer of last year. But this Survey USA, this is a Democrat internal. So we have a Democrat internal conducted pretty much. I think this was during Afghanistan, so it might be a little closer, but way before inflation, way before the war in Ukraine, when Biden was actually very popular. And Janet Mills is only defeating Paula Page by, 5 points, with 13% undecided? Meanwhile, we have this other poll conducted back in May when Biden was easily above water, very popular, and she's only beating Paula Page by 7. So really, this race is already likely to lean D at this point. So we have polls that when Biden was very popular nationwide, before inflation, before the war in Ukraine. Sure, this was probably conducted during Kabul, but even then, Biden was still above water during that time. So really, and this is Democrat internal. Paula Page is down by 5 in a Democrat internal. In Maine, a Democrat-leaning state. Janet Mills is in really bad shape looking at this, and even the predictions agree with it. Everyone has it lean D, except for RCP, which has a pure toss-up. I have it as a pure toss-up, if anything, tilting to LePage at this point. He is not looking very good based on these polls, as well as the fact that he's solid on the issues. He's good for Maine. He has the endorsements of Susan Collins and Chris Sununu, who are both very popular in the Northeast. He can get the libertarian-esque Gary Johnson, longtime Republican-type voters in the more liberal parts of Maine. Like Portland, Bangor, places like that, the places that used to vote solidly Republican but now vote solidly Democrat. He can run on the Chris Sununu endorsement there, get those voters out. He can also run the Susan Collins endorsement, get voters out there. And he's also very populist on economics, so he'll do very well in the northern part of Maine, the 2nd Congressional District. So overall, Paula Page is actually a very good place to win this race, in all honesty. I think Janet Mills is honestly going to lose right now. However, this race is tilt Republican. I'm still waiting for more polling to come out, but right now, I think that Paula Page would very narrowly pull off a victory in this race. But this wouldn't be Paula Page winning would mean basically nothing as long as Democrats continue to control the Maine House of Representatives. So 76 seats for a majority, and currently the Democrats have 79 seats to 66 seats for the Republicans. However, if you look here, the Republican Party made a bunch of gains. They picked up 9 seats in 2020. So in a Biden won Maine by 8 points. The Republican Party still picked up 9 seats in the Maine State Senate, State House of Representatives. So in a maybe R+2, R+3 environment, the Republican Party, honestly, has a solid shot at flipping the Maine House. I think the Republican Party is definitely going to gain some seats. Whether or not they're going to win, that's kind of iffy. But think about this: Biden won Maine by 8 to 9 points, and the Republican Party gained 9 seats in the Maine House of Representatives. The Republicans are going to win the generic ballot by 2 to 3 points at least. and the Republicans are going to pick up a lot of seats. So the Maine State House of Representatives is honestly looking pretty good for the GOP. I would actually not be surprised if we did manage to pick up Maine, honestly, the House of Representatives. So that would give if Paul LePage kind of runs as a a solid. If he runs as a solid candidate, he kind of unites the Republicans around voting Republican, like Glenn Youngkin did. Glenn Youngkin's the lieutenant governor, Winsome Sears, and Jason Miara is the attorney general. Those guys weren't very well known, but Youngkin managed to unite all Republicans, unite all factions of his base to turn out for those people as well. If Youngkin can do that for the Republican Party, I mean not Youngkin, if Paul LePage can do that for the Republican Party in Maine, then I see no reason that the Republicans can't possibly narrowly take control of the Maine House of Representatives. So now we're going to go back to go to the Maine State Senate, and this is where things get iffy. The Republicans actually lost seats in 2020. Troy Jackson's actually a very popular majority leader. He's very popular across Maine. He's solid. Well, I shouldn't say solid on the issues. He's a solid Democrat on the issues, and he's done a very good job of keeping the Maine State Senate in Democratic hands. Because honestly, before like 2014, 2016, the Republicans had a strong control. The Republicans actually controlled the chamber. Had controlled the chamber since 2014, and it was through Troy Jackson's leadership that the Democrats managed to flip the state Senate back in 2018. So really, the Maine State Senate is very fluid, obviously. We've seen this as the fact that Republicans went from having a majority to now being down by like 8 seats. 7 seats in the 9 seats actually. They're down by 9 seats now. They used to have a majority, but now they're down by 9 seats, which tells me that the Maine State Senate is very fluid. So possibly in a good Republican wave year, we're probably going to pick up at least a couple of seats. However, I'm iffy on whether or not we can flip it, simply because Troy Jackson has been an excellent majority leader for the Democrats. So with that, this is the kind of a quick analysis on the Maine elections for the State Senate, State House of Representatives, and Gubernatorial election. Like I said, I think I think as of now we're going to win the Republican Party is going to win the gubernatorial election. I think as of now, we have a good shot at flipping the House of Representatives. I'd say it's not 100% certain, but we have a very good shot. And I'd say for the Maine State Senate, we'll pick up a few seats, but we probably won't flip it. So with that, thank you for watching this quick video on the Maine, on pretty much the elections in Maine this cycle. If you guys want to see more videos like this, or kind of analyze more local places such as the State Senate and State House of Representatives elections, let me know in the comments down below. And be sure to like and subscribe for more videos.